let's chat.
Let's chat.
Welcome to our very first episode of the Conversations with Julia, where we actually go into the depths of our industry that we both work in and that we both love. So today is going to be very exciting to talk to you about it and to see how you feel yourself today in the changing world of wine and whether
Okay.
you actually feel it, whether you think that it's changing or not. But you could start by introducing yourself. What do you do right now? And how did you come into the world of wine?
Well, that's very interesting. Thank you, Julia. So I'm Clara. I grew up in the Bordeaux area, and I'm working nowadays in Château de Malherbes, a very, very beautiful castle in Bordeaux. And I'm doing export. I'm the export representative of the domain. And I came into wine, simply fell in love with this product and the emotions it brings you. And I've met so many great people that I don't want to stop this adventure. So it's been now 5 years I'm in, and I'm not planning to move anywhere else.
Okay. Well, that's great to hear because we need professionals like you here in Bordeaux. But tell me what moved you to get into the wine industry? Because I know that you're studying it now.
Yeah.
So how come you came into it?
When I was starting my studies, also the first year, I needed to complete an internship for my first undergrad diploma. And so I started to look at internships, but I had no idea of what I wanted to do. And I simply met two people in Bordeaux. It's a couple in Blaye, and so I just fell in love with not really with the wine at the first sight because I didn't knew anything, but with their vision and with what they wanted to promote. And I completed my internship and I stayed for a summer job, and I was like, yep, I need to do this again and again. And I started to search for other positions in the wine industry, and I kept in it.
So you were not in wine industry before.
I wasn't at all before.
Okay. So what was the most surprising thing that you learned about the wine when you just started to get into it?
Well, that's a very deep question. I would say that it's so international and it's so present in our lives for like many centuries. So it's a very interesting product in itself, and the history is the
It's just very vast.
yeah,
There's
it's
so many
very
things to
vast.
learn.
Yeah.
It's what I've like noticed when I started getting into wine. You just never stop learning
No,
because
never.
there's so many things. It's been there for thousands of years.
Mm.
So many people contributed to it, and it's changing so much.
Mm.
So yeah, no, I completely agree with you. That's what surprised to me too, because it feels like it's just a product,
Yeah.
and then there's so much more behind it.
Yeah, when you dive into it, you discover a whole multiverse you had no idea about before. But it's fascinating because things are changing, people are changing also, and so you never stop learning and creating. It's a very creative product.
But one of the things about the fact that it's so, vast and there's so much information about it, how does one not get too overwhelmed with the information about wine?
I would say it's quite hard at the beginning because you dive in a super deep ocean. I think communication is one of the key. This is also what I think I want to promote when sometimes I host guests at the property. It's you need to decomplexify things for people. You need to make it available and easy to understand because you want them to share it with you. And so I think really communicating is one of the major keys today.
But if you, for instance, you don't have any ability to, come and visit
Yeah.
a chateau. If you live in an area where, wine making is not really a thing, what's the simplest way to start learning about wine? What is the...
I think social network.
Okay.
There's so much content nowadays, so many wine influencers as well as winemaker that are just simply passionate and want to share about their daily lives at the property. So I think it's a super good entry point, and not get too overwhelmed. Just try to learn what you want, and just try to avoid too many informations.
But do you think that social media actually is helping our industry?
I think so, because I think it's promoting a very young image of the winemaking, which for my generation is sometimes not easy to understand. The codes are changing so fastly. So I think it's a super good entry point, because you can touch so many people, and it's really dynamic, I think.
So are there any influencers that you like on social media in wine?
There is, for example, Rouge aux Lèvres, because she's super dynamic and she is making it super easy for people to understand. But I also very like, for example, Brut Wine. They are very, I think, dedicated to educate people and to make them discover word of wine, especially in France. So I think it's a super good entry point to know your country, for example, for us, and then start interesting yourself in Europe, Argentina, or Japan maybe. And I think it's super interesting.
Do you know any international wine influencers?
I remember this video about a winemaker in New Zealand. I couldn't say it's an estate that is doing promoting videos. I'm not very sure I know winemakers abroad, but
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah, but it's also interesting because I feel like in wine influence in general, we just now starting to see some kind of movement, at least for myself. Maybe I wasn't looking for it, but it seems that it's quite limited at this point. So it almost feels like we need some more content creation in that field. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there is so great content everywhere. Like, a vineyard is super beautiful to watch growing, and you just need inspired people that want to have like a crazy idea and make it beautiful to the eyes of the world. So yeah, I think influence is very important, and we need to develop this part of the industry to make it sexier for people.
Yeah, let's make wine sexier for people. What a great slogan. I know that you've recently passed the WSET 3 exam, so
True.
congratulations, because I've
Thank
heard
you.
that it's a very difficult one. But for those who have not heard about it before or want to learn more, could you just explain a little bit more what it is and what does it entail?
Yes, of course. So WSCT is a school and a program based in London. They are offering people the opportunity to pass diplomas, so they are recognition. It's recognized worldwide. It concerns wines, beers, and spirits. So I took it in wine, and there is 4 levels in total. I passed the level 3, and this is a program meant to help people to learn about winemaking, viticulture, as well as wines of the world. So there's, for example, France, there is Argentina, Peru, Greece, Hungary. So there is so many different aspects of the wine industry they want you to consider, and also if you're interested. And I think it's a super great program. And so the exam consists of a tasting of the wines, as well as some writing questions. It's super general, so you have such a great knowledge about wine afterwards, and it's very shareable around the whole world. So I think it's a great program.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I've
Yeah.
heard like the first level is basically just the basics. Then the second level is wine tasting. The third level is wine of the world. So you're literally just learning about every region, and there are like 10,000 different grape varieties that you need to also learn and understand, and it's just crazy. And what is WSET for?
Wine and Spirits
Okay,
Education Trust.
okay. And there's five, or it's the Master of Wine?
There is 4, and after, if you're really interested in, you can take the Master of Wine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you noticed what exactly has changed in like younger people consumption?
Well, I think our parents, first of all, they don't drink as much wine as our grandparents. So it wasn't on our table, it wasn't a daily consumption product. So I think we were infused and we needed we needed to cultivate an interest in wine by ourselves. So we try to, I think, identify ourselves to references and to things that are able to speak to us. If you didn't grow up in Bordeaux and you see a typical Bordeaux label with the chateau, you maybe think it's too much for you and you don't deserve it. So I think we really need to adapt to attract the younger generation to us. I have a friend of mine, for example, she's working in the sparkling wines, and she's trying to make it more dynamic and make it more easier to understand. So she's doing small bottles because a huge bottle, like a 75 centiliters, is a lot of wine if you don't know if you like the product or not. So she is making small ones with different tastes, and I think it's a good idea to start to let people come to you and see if they're interested. So I think labels are changing. I think promotion is changing. So definitely our generation needs to be catch with something they own, something from their childhood memories, something they will recognize themselves in. Yeah.
But it's almost as if you're building the perception of wine from scratch. Because it feels like we had this culture of wine, you know, with the older generations and how it was consumed and it was consumed well. They were drinking a lot of it.
Yeah.
It almost feels like we need to rewrite the story of wine for today.
I don't think you need to maybe rewrite the story. I just think you need to change the way you're communicating about it. Wine remains wine. I mean, even though you can make wine from different techniques, you can be organic, high environmental value, you can have a gravity fed cellar, or you can have a perfectly regular cellar. Wine will remain wine. It's just the way you let people appropriate themselves the wine that have to change. Wine is a very historical product. We consume wine for now centuries. And our parents maybe won't like the same wine as us. Maybe they would just like the product, but maybe not the bottle. So I think it's a different approach to the same product.
So I had one of the questions, but I think you kind of answered it. But can the wine stay authentic while adapting to the new generations, to modern world?
Yeah, I think so. I think wine can really stay authentic. I think we're just not speaking about traditional winemaking. Maybe less sulfides or different yeasts that are nowadays components in wine can change, can evolve, but it's still a biological product. It needs some elements to start, it needs some elements to be created. So yeah, I think wine is authentic, it's just changing.
Okay. I have fun questions because I actually think that you're really good at this part, but when it comes to wine and food pairings, I think that you're really, really strong at it. But do you think they really matter that much?
I think so. I think even though if you really like wine, you can enjoy a bottle by itself. I think wine and food pairing is so great because it gives you the opportunity to enhance the perception of both and to create a very unique and strong experience. So I definitely think it's something important. And there's so many pairings you can do actually at home. There is so many meals you will take in your life and so many bottles of wine you will open. So there is so many opportunities to make a very beautiful pairing.
That is true.
Yeah.
Was there once some kind of pairing that really, really surprised you that you remember till today? It might be pleasant or not pleasant, I don't know, but something fun.
Well, that's a very hard question.
If it doesn't come to mind, it's okay. But
I think it will probably come to my mind, but I'm trying to be really careful. I haven't been
you
really
just,
so disappointed.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I also think that you drank a lot of wine in your time. So
maybe.
maybe. No, but it's also, I guess when you work in wine, it just becomes something, it's a part of your lifestyle. It's a
Yeah.
part of who you are. For me personally, it's just something that I don't see it as an alcohol. I don't see it as just a beverage. I see it something as like a part of what I do. Again, I work in wine, but also when I have lunches and dinners, it's just, I always so appreciative of it, that, yeah, it just becomes a part of it, not just something secluded.
Yeah, I agree.
But what does wine represent to you? How do you feel? What is wine to you today?
It's a very big part of my life. It's my passion, actually.
Mm.
I am lucky enough to, because I felt in love with this job, and nowadays my job is basically promoting wine and promoting the beauty of it. To me, it's a sensational product. It's more than an experience, and it's, yeah, part of my life.
Well, you're doing it great. You're promoting it really, really well. Um, but also, we have those discussions today that, we are in a very difficult period of time and we're facing so many challenges today. So, what are those challenges? For people who are consuming every day, they're buying wine,
Yeah.
they cannot see it. They can only see that the prices are going down. Or they can be, confused because there's so much wine. But what does it actually mean for wineries?
Well, for wineries, it means a lot because since around the 60s, the consumption is decreasing worldwide, and especially in France. And we had this very hard time where we were not able to promote our wines, and when even the French people didn't consume their own wine anymore. And some regions, such as Bordeaux, knew some troubles. It was a diverse crisis, actually. So less consumption, less demand. Some vineyards started to uproot their vines to reduce the production. So uprooting vines is also uprooting a little bit of your history and of your job. So it was such a hard time. Wine wasn't matching with the expectation of people. Some wine were judged too tannic, some were too old. So it was a super hard moment, and we knew this deconsumption. And as we talked, our parents didn't consume, so they didn't learn their children how to consume, why, when. So you need to catch new consumer because you didn't catch, for example, the parents or the generations before, and you need to explain them what wine is. But when you don't know a product and you're starting to interest in it, you will not spend 50 euros on a bottle. So obviously prices went down, and this crisis was not, maybe not unexpected, but it was,
Accumulation of lots of
yeah.
different factors that were happening for a while now.
Yeah, exactly. And so now industry is young again, and industry wants to promote
Yes.
great stuffs,
Yes.
wines, and so yeah, it's the beginning of a new era.
Yeah, Clara, I think you should go into marketing. You're just giving me off like beautiful gems of phrases. So yeah, the industry is young again.
Yeah.
Make the industry young again. But I feel it's just whether you get it or you don't get it. Whether you understand that in today's world you need to be agile, you need to move, and you need to innovate without losing your authenticity, is the
Exactly.
question you just replied to. You don't have to lose what you've built. You just need to adjust it to today's world.
Yeah.
But tell me a bit more about your job today. So, how do you see what you do exactly? What new things did you learn? And for example, does your new certification actually help you with it?
Well, so my certification is really new, so I didn't, I think, really had the chance to promote it and say people, hey, I know what I'm talking about. But my job today is trying to promote wine. So it means searching for a new market and interesting myself about what is the type of wine consumed, what is the price we can sell the wine, where is the main channel I can sell the wine. So I need to, for that, study the market and find importers. And I need to call a lot of potential importers to catch one. And so the idea is to present the chateau, to promote it, to present the gravitational winemaking, for example. So I have lots of arguments to catch them. And the main difficulty today is that people were so overwhelmed with Bordeaux at some point that nowadays they started to decrease their stock of Bordeaux. So it's really hard when you say, hey, I'm from Bordeaux, I'm a super dynamic vineyard, please try my wines. It's still hard to catch them. So part of my job is also going to meet them. This is what I'm going to do in 2 weeks. I'm leaving for Poland. I will enjoy a fair in Warsaw, the capital city, and I will also try to meet importers with my wine in my bag, and I will just knock at their door and say, hey, taste my wine, please. Yeah, so the job is basically promoting the wine, and the main goal, where it is very precious to me, is establishing long-term relationship. I think it's at some point when you're exporting for sometimes people for 20 years, they're more than just customers or importers to you. And I think this is something really precious because we have such a beautiful product that we share with beautiful people. Wine needs to be shared. And so sharing this business relationship is one of my main goals today. So I'm working here for the relationships of 20 years.
Of course, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's also what wine is about. And among all those business transactions, we just forgot what it is. It's about bringing people together and creating something real and deep and long lasting. So no, I agree with you completely. But it's interesting that you're going to Poland. How come you chose that part of the world? Because we don't really hear much about it. Because from what I know, it's always the big markets, the U.S., China, I don't know, the UK.
Well, those historical markets are very big markets, but sometimes complicated to penetrate. It's not, for example, your culture, so it's difficult to approach these people. As a French younger that has not a lot of experience, for example, with those markets, it can be hard. So growing up in Europe is also a chance because we are close to each other. I mean, if, for example, we sell the wines and we want to help them to promote, we can just take a flight. So there is many convenient, let's say, arguments to start business with those people. And nowadays, Northern Europe and Eastern Europe are emerging a lot. They are importing most of the wine they consume today. So there is definitely a space for Bordeaux wines. And we choose also Poland because it's a dynamic market nowadays. And we are enjoying a French fair organized by business friends to meet people, meet importers there. So it was a combination of our wishes, of the offer of the market, and so we, after regarding at the market key elements, markets arguments, we decided to go for Poland.
No, I completely understand. But it's very interesting about the face-to-face communication because I feel like with COVID, it has changed a lot of things too. When we couldn't travel anymore, we couldn't see each other anymore. We had to stay away from each other, literally. So do you think it's coming back? Do you think that it has been impacted in some other way? How important is it still today?
I think it's more and more important, as you say, because of COVID lockdown. We were forced to deal by phone, by emails. But nowadays, you received so many emails, you received so many phone calls that making a difference is also presenting yourself to the people. It's easy to hide yourself behind a computer, behind your phone, but going to people, going to their company, asking them questions about their business. It's something important, and I think this is one way to show people you matter. You're evaluating their business and their matter to you. So I think it's super important to get out of your comfort zone in your desk and meet people. I think it's one of the key elements today to have a real conversation and a real relationship establishment.
Perfect. Very nicely put. Let's go back for a little while, back to the wine and everything. Wine in a glass. If someone asks you, how do I find my favorite wine, or how do I taste to find a good bottle of wine, what would you suggest to them? Where do they start?
Please don't try to find a favorite wine. Try as many wines as possible. And there is so many different things, so don't just look at one bottle precisely. I think you need to taste and you need to get out complicated things into your mind. The best question is, do I like it or not? And I just think you need to taste, maybe sometimes with food, with friends, and you need to share this moment. But yeah, you need to avoid prejudice, you need to avoid everything. You just need to know if you like it or not, because this is the best question to ask yourself. Do I like it? And so
But is there such a thing as a good palate?
I think good palate exists. And I think palate doesn't come in one day. But the more you taste, the more you drink, the more accurate your palate will be, the easier it will be for you to enjoy wine and to drink it. So good palate exists, but you don't need to look for the perfect palate.
Yeah. So it's just, and I feel like everyone is so different. You will have your own taste, and it's
Yeah.
just a matter of not being afraid to discover it, of not just going in prepared to know exactly what you're drinking. For me, my biggest advice is like, you will never know, even as a wine professional, you will not know what's inside of the bottle, because the bottle can be a bit different from the other bottles, because the way that it develops is different too.
Yeah.
Even I'm talking about the same vintage, the same producer and everything. So it's just a discovery. It's
Yeah.
just a discovery, and this is what is beautiful about the wine. But also, if somebody asks you, where should I go? I really want to discover wine. What would be the first destination you would send them to? Anywhere in the world.
That's a super hard question. Bordeaux is really a basis. I've met a lot of people that say the first wine I drank was Bordeaux wine, even though they were from the United States or Spain. Bordeaux was such a thing. So I definitely, I think, recommend Bordeaux to discover wine, because there is a huge concentration of so many different things. You have Sauternes that is very sweet. You have Saint-Emilion that is very round, and Cadillac as well. And you have Médoc that is a little bit harsher. So I think you have such a concentration of different winemakers and different opinions. So definitely maybe Bordeaux.
Yeah. And I would agree with you, because I feel like Bordeaux has been opening so much in the past couple of years, exactly for the reason because we had so much Bordeaux bashing, that we called, that everyone understood we need to move, we
Yeah.
need to open up. And there are so many things. And combined with this beautiful tradition and history that's been here, with the new outlook to the world and to the new consumers, I feel like it's a beautiful place to start and to learn. And do you think that Château de Malherbes would be a good place to start?
I think so. It's not to spoil you about the visit, but we have like very interactive visits,
Yeah,
and
I
we
feel
are,
so too.
I think, very proud to show the chateau and to share everything we've learned from visitors, from winemakers, from our team. So definitely.
Yeah, I feel like we're enjoying it as
Yeah.
much as the guests, because you meet them and they're so curious, and it just really warms my heart, because it feels like you understand, you share it with me. So Yeah, that's really really cool. So we've touched on lots of different topics, and it was super super interesting. And thank you so much for replying to all the questions in such a beautiful way. But just if also a fun question for our viewers, what would you suggest drinking this summer? Because it's really warm. I mean, wherever people are who will be watching this, but here in Bordeaux, it's hot, but we still want to enjoy some wine. What
Yeah,
would you suggest?
go for what you feel you want. I think if you want to have red wine, it's perfectly enjoyable. But I would definitely recommend a fresh white wine or a rosé. And if you want to make it something fresher, just add a slice of cucumber inside
Oh,
and maybe some ice.
interesting. Are we
And
allowed to?
yeah, I think so. Just if you like, for example, if you're not confident with ice, you can put like whiskey ice cubes that will not dilute themselves.
Oh, okay, okay,
It's a
okay.
cheat code, but
Yeah.
it's a good one. And yeah, definitely enjoy it in a fresh area, such as a pool. And
Mm, what a beautiful advice.
yeah, I
But
think so.
a quick question, because
Yeah,
like I feel that I've noticed that I really started to like chilled reds.
yeah,
Maybe not with ice just yet, but if they're not at the recommended temperature, but a little bit
lower.
chiller, I
Yeah.
feel like they still give the beautiful notes,
Hmm.
but they're just very enjoyable and fresh, and they just hit differently. What do you think? Is it allowed?
I think it's allowed for some wines. Maybe not for all the wines, but there is wine that are meant to be fresh. It's, for example, Clara wine that needs to be making a fresh way with a very light color, light aromas, and lots of red fruits. I think it's something you can definitely enjoy
Mm.
in the fridge. But again, if you want to enjoy wine with ice with a slice of cucumber, you're more than welcome. It's just that you need to find your wine moment.
Yes, thank you so much for replying to this question this way because I feel that one of the keys is do not be afraid to experiment still.
Yeah.
You will have some recommendations from the, producer, but you have free will. So if you want to enjoy it as you
Yeah.
want to enjoy it, you might be like, no, I hated it, it's horrible, and just don't do it again.
Yeah.
But just try to be free with it and experiment and enjoy it as much as you can.
Yeah. I think so.
Well,
Thank you,
thank you very
Julia.
much, Clara. It was so interesting to talk to you. Thank you for your insights.
Thank
And I
you.
really hope that people will find it, useful. But I did.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, if you enjoyed our little conversation with Clara and if you found it insightful and fun, don't forget to follow, like us, and obviously share it with your friends and maybe share in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions, if you feel like you could advise us or anybody else about things to do, wine to drink, wineries to visit. And if you have any questions, us with our team, we will be able and happy to answer to all of them. So, cheers.